Ulster Bank. Help for what matters. Ulster Bank Ireland Act is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. The greatest football partnership since Shearer and Owen.
Welcome back to Off the Ball Saturday on News Talk. John Duggan with you through till 5 o'clock. 53106, the number for your text. We're also streaming live as well now, so you can get in touch with us on the Off the Ball social channels. On Twitter at Off the Ball, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the GoLad app. You can listen to us as well. We're delighted to be joined on the line by the new Republic of Ireland manager, Stephen Kenny. Stephen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Stephen. Well, first of all, congratulations are in order. I think everybody in the country wishes you well, and we're delighted that you've got the chance to manage the national team. And we'll get to the nuts and bolts of that in a moment. But first of all, it's an unprecedented time. It's a worrying time for a lot of people during the pandemic. How are you and your family doing?
Yes, we're okay. There's 6 of us in our house, and we're okay at the moment. I think, one of my daughters is working from home. My sons are doing their homework, or not doing it, chasing them around doing it. One of my other girls in college. So they've been trying to stay active in and around the house. My mother, she's okay at the moment. But I haven't seen her obviously in quite a number of weeks, of course. And she's in Tala. So we're okay. I think I have some friends whose parents are in hospital at the moment, and they're having a tough time with it and so forth. So that's when I'm speaking to them. So it's just desperate times really at the moment.
They're difficult times, Stephen, and everybody, I do think, though, in the country's pulling together. So what have the last few days been like? What's the daily diary like in Louth for you there, Stephen?
Probably because, listen, I spent a lot of my time probably travelling over the last year because I was in the UK for a lot of under-23 games early in the year. A lot of players then breaking into first teams initially in League Two on loan or in League One. Then obviously went to Italy and Toulon for 3 weeks. Italy for the European Under-21 Championships, Armenia for the Under-19 Championships. So I've been travelling non-stop. So it's given me a chance, actually. I needed to get my finger out and do a bit of running, actually, for sure, over the last couple of weeks. And that clears the head for sure. That's been a great opportunity just to do that. But I've been in touch with various local groups and so forth as well. But a lot of people are putting their shoulder to the wheel really in this crisis. Very admirable. I've a lot of friends who are nurses and doctors, some in Letterkenny, some in Altnagelvin, and some in right throughout Dublin hospitals, and Mortimer O'Connor down in Cork. He was I've been in contact with them. They're getting a couple of aunts, Siobhan's aunts. Are cleaning. One of them, one or two. One is cleaning in a nursing home, so difficult at the moment as well in that situation. So yeah, I've just been keeping in touch with people and seeing how they are.
And we know you spoke to Seamus Coleman as well, the captain of the Republic of Ireland. He will be your captain. It's come sooner than expected, Stephen, obviously, with the contract situation, this unprecedented pandemic, and that you will be now the Republic of Ireland manager and replacing Mick McCarthy. What does it feel like, Stephen? It is the biggest job in Irish sport. How does it feel?
Yeah, I'm very proud, obviously, very privileged, and it is a great honour to manage Ireland. I think that's the way I feel about it. There's only a handful of men really in my lifetime have had the job. So you only get one opportunity. So you have to absolutely give it everything, and no stone will be left unturned in pursuit of trying to be successful.
I was speaking to Shane Lowry, Stephen, at Christmas, and this was after he won the Open at Portrush, and it was a fairy tale really. And I asked him what had changed, how his life had changed between July and December, and he said the one thing that had changed was recognition, that everybody everywhere knew who he was. You're living in Ireland, you're living in Louth, this is a really big gig, there'll be praise, there'll be criticism, there'll be scrutiny. Your family, obviously you'll be trying to protect them. Are you prepared for that, Stephen?
Listen, John, I'm not really fearful of that at all. I think the reality is, I've had plenty of criticism over the years, and and some of it well deserved, I must say. But it's not something really that phases me. I know the level of criticism will be greater, and that's not something that phases me at all. The way I'm looking at this is that we're going to, from my point of view as a manager and all of the staff, we're going to enjoy our work. Every single day you come in on the camps, in the international windows, we'll make sure everything is really well organised and the sessions are really, sharp and certainly with a real purpose. And we'll do a lot of homework on the opposition, and we'll do a lot of homework on how we need to play, and we'll make sure that we're absolutely ready for the games. We want to enjoy the experience. I don't see it as something to be fearful. You're talking about the situation earlier on and what people are going through and so forth. So that, this is something that you shouldn't be fearful of. This is something really special opportunity, and so that's really the way I view it. I do view it honestly that way, that we're really going to enjoy it and encourage. Your job is really to unlock the potential of the team, to try and get players to play to utilise the full extent of their talent, and that's really part of your objectives.
You were a manager at 26 at Longford Town, Stephen. Then you won the league with Bohemians. You were at Derry City. You won the FAI Cup. You had a brilliant time at Dundalk, 4 league titles, 2 FAI Cups. Is there a thread? Is there a template for success where you've had it at different places? And obviously you've had disappointments, Dunfermline, Shamrock Rovers. But is there a thread? Is there a continuity regarding how you work to get teams to play a certain way and be successful?
No, I think I'm not the same coach I was even 2 years ago. I think what I did say with Longford doesn't bear any resemblance to what you're doing now. You have to consistently evolve or constantly evolve, and that's what you have to do. And I think and so many changes as well, really, in terms of so many changes in relation to on the IT side of things. I think when players at their clubs are getting really well looked after, and how in terms of the analysis side of things, and that's that's something that I'll make sure that we're absolutely ready for.
You've got your backroom team in, well documented at this stage. Keith Andrews and Damien Duff, and Keith, you worked with the under-21s. How well do you know Damien? I would have come across Damien over the years a few times, but I can't say we knew each other that well. Obviously, he was on the UEFA Pro licence this year, gave me a chance to. I was an occasional observer on the course. I wasn't a participant. I was, Niall O'Regan that asked me they had a coach education to come in as an observer, and I did, and we spoke quite a few times, and obviously he did a lot of good work at Shamrock Rovers, and that was terrific in under 15s, and certainly he was at the first team as well, and he went and done Celtic's under 20s and then under 21s, and then went to the first team for a year, so he did really, really well there, and I think that was that was very obvious, and I think he's a very, very good addition. I think I'm into clearly defined roles. I think I said that already as the management team. Yeah. And I think certainly I've worked well with Keith Andrews over the last 18 months. I've been lucky enough to have great assistants in my career. I've been lucky enough. And my first ever assistant, Christy Campbell, in fact, with Longford, he was absolutely brilliant, but he passed away, and he's been very inspiring for me. But Keith Andrews has worked really well over the last 16 months together. I think he's very, very hard working. He's been with the under 16s, the 17s, the 18s. He's been with the under 21s with me, and I think he's had a good bit of experience with MK Dons as well, coaching there.
and he's a young coach looking to, but he's had a lot of experience on the international scene already. Damien, we spoke about it already. So it's a young, dynamic coaching team. Alan Kelly, very experienced goalkeeping coach, I think, and very, very specialist and a good technical goalkeeping coach. So I think we'll add some further members to the coaching or to the extended staff over the next couple of weeks. And that it all happened so quickly last week, so we had to sort of get that finalised over the last few days.
I think we're all excited, Stephen, about the way you play the game, your kind of philosophy about the game, progressive, attacking football, controlling the ball. I like the way you said about having a connection with the fans at the Aviva Stadium. I think that's very important, and that goes down through all the levels and grades of the game to schoolboy level. I'm a fan, I'm a broadcaster, but I'm also a fan of football. We're having an Italia 90 debate, Stephen, between 3 and 5
right.
Today. I remember I was 11 during Italia 90. You were a little bit older than me then. And we were successful. But over the last 10 years as a fan, I've been frustrated by the way we play football. Have you been frustrated over the last decade with the style of play of Republic of Ireland teams?
Right. That's it's an interesting question because, it very much depends on your own opinion on the game, and there's different people have different philosophies on how they see the game. And I think, I think there's been some really great managers that have preceded me with spectacular CVs. Some of them, and had with a great tradition in football, and I have huge respect for them. But I do think that there has been a focus on more direct style of play. There has been a focus on the physical attributes that we have. I think, from my point of view, I will look to, I only get one crack at this, and I will look to change the way we play. It is important to me. It is very, very important to me. And I think to a lot of people, they want to really see a vibrant Irish team passing the ball well, cohesively, and trying to win games, and with an element of creativity, And I think, talk is cheap and anyone can say anything, and I think that is one thing. But we've shown in the under-21 team, for example, this year, a real creative spark in all our games, and we've been prolific in the number of goals we scored, and we were fourth seeds in the group, and we're winning that group, and we had a great Toulon tournament. But obviously it's a different level. The senior international team is a completely different level. So that is the challenge, to make it a creative attacking team that people can connect with. I think there has been, at various times over the last 10 years, there has been a little disconnect. But I think there has been periods of success in that. Although we haven't qualified for three of the last 4 tournaments, and that's been. That we have a chance to rectify that, because we're in the European Championship playoffs, coming possibly in October, November. We've six Nations League games, and we've also got the World Cup qualifiers. So I'm absolutely blessed, because in this year I'm taking over 3 brilliant competitions in terms of the World Cup qualifiers, with the big playoff in Slovakia and the six Nations League games. So huge incentive. I think everyone in the country wants to get to the Euros and have them in Dublin. That would be extremely special. And that's what we would, everyone wants that. There's no, players want to play in them. They know we haven't qualified for that many tournaments in recent times, as I said. So they want to, their careers are short, international careers are short. They want to have special moments, and they want to qualify for tournaments. And we have a tough draw in Slovakia, there's no doubt about that. But we must prepare accordingly and do our utmost to try and get into the final against either Bosnia or Northern Ireland. So that's one of the phases. But yeah, I think if the game is in September, we'll be ready. Can he radically change everything in 3 or 4 training sessions? Probably not. Would I try and do that? Probably not. I think. But if there is 5 or 6 games to prepare, it gives you a chance to really get your stamp on how you prepare. I would obviously look for different things, but I don't mean that as an implied criticism of Mick McCarthy, because he has a a tremendous career as a manager, and in his career, and I've got great respect for that. And also defensively, we were very, very good in overall. And that's not just with the back four. The whole team was set up to make sure they were very difficult to beat this year, and that they achieved that.
Yeah, and you've spoken about the defensive structure and the solidity we have there with John Egan, for example, Stephen, a ball-playing centre-half. But we did only, I suppose, score 7 goals in qualifying. Denmark got 23, Switzerland got 19. And I'm looking at the talent we have from under-21s, Adam Ida, Aaron Connolly is playing for Brighton. How far are these kind of under-21s, like Jason Malumbi, for example, at Millwall, who's playing regular football, obviously on loan from Brighton. How far are these guys away from breaking into the first team, in your view?
Well, I think a lot will depend on, their end. It is a strange period. There is talk of the season finishing, we hope, then a mini pre-season of sorts, and it will be a mini pre-season. There, speculation is only a 3-week break or something. So back into the new season. I think it'll be interesting to see how they go at their clubs. You mentioned a lot of players there. Will they be recalled from loan to their parent clubs? Will some of the players, the attacking players, be sent out on loan? Obviously, Adam Ida had a spectacular introduction. There's not too many players you can remember stand out to get a hat-trick on their debut in the FA Cup like that. It was terrific. Troy Parrott is... for me, he's only played 4 games for us, and he's got 4 goals, and I haven't even played him up front yet. He's played off the left as a number 10. Very, very instinctive, natural goal scorer. Interesting player, really. Great attitude. Aaron Connolly obviously got 2 in his debut for Brighton against Spurs, but hasn't scored since, and has been out of the squad in recent times. So for him to get rejuvenated and back into the squad, into the team at Brighton, they're in a relegation battle. It's not easy, but he has versatility. He's played off the left as well, so he has versatility. And of course, the other young player is Michael Obafemi there at Southampton, the other young attacking player who I haven't had much. I've only had him for 1.5 games. He's played for 2 games. He's played 1.5, and he's been injured. But obviously, he scored. He scored a couple of very high-profile goals, and he's been for one so young, he's done very well for Southampton. So we'll have to see how they progress at the start of the season and whether they can force their way in. A lot of the senior players, again, they'll be looking to maintain their place in their teams, in their individual clubs, and it'll be very important to do that. And I think because it is strange to finish so quickly and go again. That'll be a new experience, and then you're really straight into the international window. So that's the nature of it. At the moment, our first 2 games are Bulgaria and Finland. That'll be interesting. So Finland have already qualified for the Euros, so it will be interesting, and so we've a lot to look forward to.
James McCarthy is somebody that you'd like to convince maybe that there is a second act with international football with James? Yes.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, there are reasons that some players haven't been playing, and I'm not fully aware of them all, to be honest. So we'll have to examine that.
Just before we let you go, Steve.
There's no doubt that James is a really talented player, and I think that's very, very obvious to anyone who's watched the game. I think he's a very talented player, but to be honest, I'm not fully sure of all of the reasons behind the scenes at the moment. So we'll have to examine that. Obviously, he had a very unfortunate time with injury with Everton, but subsequently moved to Crystal Palace and has played 22 games for Crystal Palace this season. So that's really impressive.
So what's the kind of plan now? How you work during this unprecedented time? Is it a lot of just research? Is it Zoom calls? Is it speaking to players? How are you going to be a football manager during this time?
Yeah, well, I think you have to look at everything as an opportunity. Like, we've got to do research on Finland, Wales, and Bulgaria. For the Nations League, we've got Slovakia. We've got to prepare for Slovakia and for potential final. We've got to. The beauty of White Scout, we have the White Scout system at the FAI, is that of every game from last year. I can watch from every championship, every Premier League game, or any other games for that matter, League One and so forth. I can watch any of the games from the season. So all of the staff, we will be taking in a high amount of games, watching them, analysing them, scrutinising them, and certainly watching Wales, Finland, Bulgaria, making sure our homework. There's already been a lot of work done on Slovakia, and Jared Dunn, the analyst, has sent me the dossier already, and all the video clips and so forth. I've watched the matches myself on Slovakia. Very interesting team, and so we've a lot of work to do. I did spend a lot of, just a period before, the period before the break, if you like, I did spend a lot of time going to watch players who've been on the periphery of the squad in the championship, and I think I didn't focus on going to see the main protagonists in the Premier League, because you see them all the time and they're obviously playing well, some of those players. I focused on some of the players who were on the periphery of the squad or the team who were playing in the championship, and I was going to some of those games, and just to familiarise myself with their strengths and weaknesses, see them in their club environment, and just see how they did. And I think that's what it. So obviously I'm keen to do a lot more of that. Once I get the opportunity and once we're up and running.
Yeah, it's great to hear the passion in your voice, Stephen, about what's ahead, and we really do wish you well. And just before we let you go, I suppose we all have a bit of downtime, maybe some more than we would like at the moment without commutes and that kind of thing. What music you listen to? What box sets you watching? What do you listen? What's the culture in Stephen Kenny's household at the moment? My musical tastes are quite diverse. So I think, I think we the family, obviously there's a lot of. I know the lads were. My two sons who are 14 and 16 were watching. They watched the English game, of course, set in the 1890s. Yeah.
That was a good little series, and obviously they're feasting on Sunderland till I die and all of that. And the girls are watching different documentaries and different Netflix series, and my wife also. So there's plenty of that going on. But it's been very busy from my point of view over the last couple of weeks. So I've not watched too much. I've been, there's been very busy here between trying to get everything organised and so forth over the last week, and a lot of phone calls and getting things, trying to get things ready for the job.
Well, Stephen, we greatly appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk, and the very best of luck with the new job with the Republic of Ireland. Yeah,
John, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Stephen Kenny there. 53106 for your text messages. Back after this.
Off the Ball
on News Talk.